Guys, we have some terribly tragic news today. Hollywood's greatest couple of all time, Brangelina, officially broke up as Angelina Jolie is divorcing Brad Pitt, and she filed for divorce on Monday, calling for irreconcilable differences. Now, this is a big deal for those of you over the age of 20 because we kind of grew up with this Brad-Angelina coupling. Back in 2004, I believe, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie shot a movie together. At the time, Brad Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston, who will forever be like the Hollywood's greatest ex-divorcee because of that. What happened in the aftermath of the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where Brad kind of fell in love with Angelina Jolie and then divorced Jennifer Aniston. And they were happily married for many years.
Brad and Angelina.
Brad and Angelina were happily married for many years. And my understanding is that this is partially due to the fact that Angelina started to feel threatened by Brad's way of life in the way that it affected his children.
Like
it affected the upbringing of children. It wasn't anything crazy. She just mentioned weed and alcohol.
Okay.
And his parenting methods. Now, we don't know what his parenting methods are, but I want to ask you, what do you think about his parenting methods?
Well, I have no idea what Brad Pitt's parenting methods are. He's done very little parenting for me personally in my life.
But
my
no,
question,
obviously we're
wait,
speculating.
I have a couple follow-up questions.
Right,
have their representatives issued statements yet, or is this just coming from her lawyer? Like, is there, because you know how you have publicists and whatnot.
Jolie has taken issue, according to TMZ, Jolie has taken issue with Pitt's parenting methods as well as his alleged use of weed and alcohol, and that had led to the split.
And that is from TMZ, but is that coming from her lawyer, or is that coming? I just want to know what the sources
just TMZ.
Are. Oh, it's just coming from TMZ.
And, well, obviously the divorce papers are asking for the custody of all 6 of the children.
Whoa.
And Brad will still have visitation rights. But the fact that Angelina is asking for sole custody of all 6 of the children and just offering visitation rights, and as you know, they're adopted. With the exception of 3.
So it's a blended family. Yes. I would have totally opened with that. Like, that's crazy that she's asking for sole custody, and
that's the reason why they're splitting. And it makes sense. It makes logical sense that if she's asking for sole custody of the children and stating that she doesn't approve of Brad's parenting methods or use of weed and alcohol, that would make sense as to why she.
And there hasn't been any sort of a retort from Brad Pitt's camp as of now.
No, Reps for the Stars have not yet commented. This is
so right now it's.
But an attorney, so Reps for the Stars have not yet commented. But an attorney for Jolie says this decision was made for the health of the family. She will not be commenting and asks that the family be given its privacy at the time. That's what the rep said.
Well,
that's all we have.
So you're saying that the reps haven't commented, but that the lawyer has commented? Okay, so
Jolie's
we're hearing
lawyer.
from the legal side. Okay. Wow, that's really heavy if she's asking for sole custody. Because that's, again, they have a really big family. And obviously, we've seen a lot in the media of the Jolie Pitt sort of group or family. And it seems like they were very close-knit and that the kids had a close relationship with their father. But I think this also just goes to show that you have no idea what happens behind closed doors. So again, they were Hollywood's gilded couple. I think that you made a good point in your introduction about that. They were absolutely a golden couple, and people aspired to be like them, even though they had sort of this odd, precarious origin story.
But it was viewed as almost like true love, where Angelina Jolie was the hottest woman in Hollywood, regarded by many different people, and Brad Pitt is a personal idol of mine. As I'm a 25-year-old man, so I grew up with Fight Club and Snatch and all these other beautiful movies that Brad Pitt made. So it was like the perfect coupling, even though, like you said, it started off on interesting grounds. So
indeed, it probably began with infidelity.
Yeah, it did. Adultery and infidelity and all of that.
Although it's never been. I think that they've publicly said that it didn't. That they were interested in each other, but nothing physically actually began until after filming or after the divorce. But I think it's probably safe to assume that there
Have
was
you seen
something
Mr. and
happened.
Mrs. Smith? Something happened.
Yeah, something
Sparks
happened before.
were
But
flying.
I think it's just, you have no idea what what people's private lives are. And for as public as a couple as they are, just inherently because of their occupations, I do think that they were able to maintain a certain level of privacy in the same way of, for example, Tom Hanks and his family. We're aware of who he's married to, we're aware of his kids, but you don't know
especially the one who's a rapper.
Yes, Chet Hayes. But you don't specifically see the behind-the-scenes goings-on of this family. You're just more aware of who they are and sort of where they are in the world because it's well documented. And I think this is a good example of clearly there was a lot of unhappiness and unrest that we were just not privy to. And sort of in a weird way, I want to salute them for keeping it as private for as long as they were able to until now, because it's so rare in Hollywood that a couple can maintain any sort of level of privacy.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Tom Hiddleston and Taylor Swift. That's a perfect example of we knew from when it began, from when she met the mom,
Which is the reason why I believe that these people personally, like the PR teams, facilitate these sort of paparazzi events. That's why I believe in that, because a couple as massive as Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt are never caught. They're never caught on camera. They're rarely ever caught on.
They have been.
Yes, but rarely.
Not to the extent.
Whereas not to the extent of like the Hiddle Swift fiasco. That was just, they were getting snapped left and right all over the place. And granted, it was like hot at the moment. It was a hot button topic. Everyone wanted to get a piece of that action. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think that I still believe that Taylor Swift's PR team had something to do with it. Like, they would just hit up the paparazzi people ahead of time and be like, because I know some paparazzi people, like, they get hit up by publicists. They get hit up by the publicists of the celebrities themselves to be like, hey, they're here. Just go to this event, or they're at this event, or they're walking out of, Blind Dragon or whatever. Just go out there and snap a couple pictures.
Great.
It's a win-win for everyone.
I was going to be like, same. People regularly
They're always
call.
like, hey, Grace is at
Grace
Whole Foods.
is leaving the campsite with her girlfriend.
Yeah, go snap some pictures.
She's at Yellowstone.
But one final note I wanted to end this on is that what's interesting to note about this is that, like, we're over the age of 22, 23, 24.
What?
So for us, this is a big deal because this was the it couple for so long. Mm-hmm. However, I feel like anyone under the age of 20 doesn't care about this whatsoever. Like, people that grew up in the digital era don't really value Brad Pitt as, like, the sexy Hollywood guy. They don't really think Angelina Jolie is. They don't know that Angelina Jolie was like Tomb Raider. They don't have this perception in their minds that these were like a sexy couple. They're very old now.
Hasan, I would even go a step further. I would agree with that point. I would agree with what our generation will feel about it. And I would go, my mother's generation is right now, I'm waiting for that phone call where she'll call and she'll be like, knew it. I knew that she was a snake when she broke up Jen and Brad. Anyone that is of a generation older saw this and they felt like it was the ultimate deception. They thought that Angelina was Satan herself, which is not fair.
Yeah, but she's a great person. Like, she's a very nice person.
She really is. I mean, not that we know her personally.
No, but the things that she does, come on,
the animosity and the animosity and the vitriol that was thrown her way because the media really did spin it that she had come in and broken up Jen and Brad's marriage.
Yeah, and Jennifer Aniston is a victim for the rest of her life.
So
like, she could kill puppies, and people will still be like, well, it happened because the Brangelina thing happened.
Yeah,
like,
she's upset.
Yeah, always.
Wow, what a story.
We want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this breakup? Is it as relevant as we think it is? Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Hasan Piker. This is Grace Baldridge, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.